my view, there's AI for revenue, right, and growth, and then AI for productivity, right? Like if you talk about AI for growth, right, I think we talked about some of the opportunities, right, like using value-based uh, value-based data to kind of optimize media buys and optimize your outcomes. That's all happening in real time, and obviously the media platforms are running that through AI, right? That's a huge one. It's
Yeah.
not like you want to build your own models, but you need to kind of adapt to what's happening in the market. And the second piece is like even in your own channels, like as to the extent that you're serving up ads, right? Like post authenticated space, pre-authenticated space. Like how do you kind of use some of the modeling and AI techniques for next best action, right? As well as
Yeah.
personalization, right? Like I think that's a huge opportunity from an AI for growth and marketing. And then I think from a productivity standpoint, certainly the velocity of the creative becomes a big one, right? I think there's a lot more. Definitely, the agencies can do in terms of picking up velocity or lower the cost of production from a creative standpoint. Certainly, varying the content and building multiple forms of content is a big one. And I think like the other one you touched on, which is like the personalization, is also there, right? I think like being able to kind of do copy testing, keyword expansion, even helping out with some of the planning activities, all that kind of falls in that productivity bucket. So I think like there's opportunities in both fronts, and certainly the AI for growth is probably a little more evolved, given that it's primarily modeling and optimization, which
Yeah.
you can adapt to. And then I think the productivity piece, again, it's probably a little slow to pick up in the banking and regulatory space, but I'm sure like the CPG and retail brands are already ramping up there, and in terms of AI usage.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We see that also because as a regulated space, right? Obviously, with hallucinations and stuff, there is certainly a challenge there. You have to be very careful. But I think we see kind of AI usage internally in like three buckets almost. One, as you pointed out, is more efficiency, right? So versioning, even a lot of backend work, like content. Sure, you don't need to have generative AI to create content, but you can certainly create briefs and all the backend stuff that can kind of lead to that point. You can save a ton of time and effort there. Multiple versions of creatives, all that can be very, very easily done by AI. So I think there's certainly efficiency opportunities. The
Right.
second piece we see is essentially doing better than what human beings can do. It's not like more efficient, but more effective. So where you see data sets, and for example, you're looking at trends, there's obviously opportunities for AI to kind of get much deeper and find deeper insights than perhaps an analyst can. I think it's happening in radiology where people expect that eventually AI would do a much better job of identifying, for example, disease. And the same thing can happen with banking data sets. Eventually, you'll kind of be much better at pattern recognition than what you're doing outside.